The second type of adding loops to your program is do loop. Do loops provide loops that iterate while or until a certain condition is true. And it has different formats. It can come as do while loop, do loop while, do until loop, do loop until, and exit do. Let's start with the first one. That is do while loop. Let's say that we need to list numbers from 1 to 5 by an increment of +1. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the minimum number or starting number is 1, and it should stop at 5. The do loop structure, the counter has to be initiated first with its initial number. What is the first number for the counter? In this example here, the first number is 1. Then we can use it now in the do while loop format. You start typing do while, they are separate words, do while, and then the counter, the variable name is counter here, and we need to stop at 5, so it's from 1 to 5. So we'll say that do while counter, which means do the looping as long as the counter value is less than or equal to 5. When you go to the next line of the code here, the counter is assigned as 1 already from the initiator, and it will be shown to the user as 1. Now this counter value, which is 1, will be added to it +1, so the new value of the counter will become 2, and it will come to the loop. Loop means go to the first line of the loop block, and here it will do the examination. So the new value, we said it is 2. Is 2 less than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. Then assign it to the counter here to be shown to the user. Then 2 plus 1 is 3. The new value of the counter is 3. Is 3 less than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. Then it will be shown to the user. 4, is 4 less than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. Then show it to the user. Then 4 plus 1 is 5. 5, is 5 less than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. Then it will be shown to the user. Then it will go up here, 5 plus 1, it will be 6. Is 6 less than or equal to 5? No, it is not, so it will stop the looping, and it will be only shown, the list will be shown only from 1 to 5. So you start with do while. The condition here is, as long as the counter is less than or equal to 5, you keep looping. The second example is the while word is not beside do, it is beside loop. So the previous one, while, is beside do. Loop has no while here. In the second format, while do has no while, there is no while beside it. It is now at the end, at the last point, at the last line. It is at the last line. So similar to the first one, you have first to start with the initial number of the counter. So counter is 1. Do, which means start the loop. No conditions yet. So start the loop. Any number, the number is 1. So now what will be assigned for the first number to be shown to the user is 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. And now the second and the last line is, it will examine the condition. Is 2, which is the new value, less than or equal to 5? Yes, it is. Then go to the first line of the loop, show it to the user. Then up to 5 plus 1 is 6. Loop while, is 6 less than or equal to 5? No, it is not. So finish the loop and just show the values from 1 to 5 to the user. So the difference between these two is the word while. While here is after do, at the beginning of the statement of the block of the do loop, and here it is after loop, which is at the end, at the last line of the loop block. Third format is you change the word from while to until. And again, similar to the previous sample, the format, until can be at the beginning, which is after do, or at the end, which is after loop. At the beginning or after, and there is no difference at all. It is just where you place the until, you have to type the condition. Same like there, where you are typing the while, you have to type the condition. However, here the difference between the until and while is the opposite condition. It says here do, the counter already has a 1, so do assign the value for the counter, it is 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2, so the new value of counter is 2. But we are saying here loop until the counter, the value of the counter is greater than 5. Until, so now we are changing, if you see we are changing now the operator from, the conditional operator from less than or equal to for the while to greater than, because we are using until. Loop until the counter value is greater than 5, then stop. Since 2 is not greater than 5, loop. 3 is not greater than 5, go to the loop and show to the user. 4 is not greater than 5, show to the user. 5 is not greater than 5, show to the user. 5 plus 1, 6 is 6 greater than 5, yes, then stop looping. Same thing whether you are placing until at the beginning, at the start line of the loop, or at the end line, or the last line of the loop, it is the same. The last format of the do loop is exit do. Exit do works if you start your loop with do and you end your loop with loop without using while or until, neither at the beginning after do nor at the end after loop. In this case, your loop will be repeated and repeated and repeated, and it will not be stopped. So how can you stop it? Is by adding an exit do in your VB statement so that you can exit the loop without a need for until or while condition. To understand more on this, let's have this example. In this example here we have two columns. This is column 1 and column 2. They are titled with in and sum. Column 1 is simply a list of numbers from 1, and let's say it will go up to 100. The value of sum will be the summation of what is the value, the current value of n to the previous value of the sum. So 1 plus, of course the first one is 0, so 1 plus 1 plus 0 is 1. Second value of sum is what's the current value of n is 2, and the previous value of sum it was 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3. Third and next value of the sum is what's the current value of n is 3, plus the previous value of the sum was 3, so 3 plus 3 is 6, and so on. So 4 plus 6 is 10, and this, it will go up to the value, the last value of n, which is 100. Let's see how we can code this using the do loop. Let's place the code in the process button. We know in this example that we have two variables that are n and sum. So let's declare them both as short. So sho n and sho sum, both as short. And similar to the previous example, we need to make n and sum as headers or titles for the two columns in the list box. So lst, and we have to type this before the loop. So lst x dot items dot add. So the first title is, open the quotation mark, n, close the quotation mark, ampersand sign, VB tab, ampersand sign, and the quotation mark sum. This will take care of the title of the two columns. Now we need to create the loop without using while and until, but we will use the exit do instead. So do, then the first value for n should be incremented using this equation. So sho n will be equal to shon plus 1, and sho sum also should be incremented with the equation. So sho sum will be equal to sho sum plus n plus n. That's the full loop. So the new value of n, it will be the previous or the old value of n plus 1. So there's no initiation of there's no initial number of n before, so the default value of the first n is 0, so 0 plus 1 is 1. And the new value of sum will be, again, there's no initial number of sum, so the default number is 0, so 0 plus what was the number, or what is the number of the new n, which is 1 here, so it will be 0 plus 1, so the new value of sum is 1. When it will loop, now the value of 1 of the new n will become 1 plus 1, 2, and the new value of the sum, it will be 1 from the previous value plus 2 of the n, so 1 plus 2, it will be 3, and so on. Let's show the value of n and sum to the user in the list box. So lst x dot items dot add. The first variable is n, so shon with the space of vb tab and sign. And the second variable is the sum, so sho sum. And by this we have a very complete loop. The problem here is the loop will keep repeating without stopping. How to stop it? We need to use the exit do. But we said that we need the last number of n to be 100, and after 100 the loop should be stopped. And we can use if condition for that. So if shon equal to 100, then exit do, and that's it. So whenever the value of n reaches 100, then you should exit the do and stop the loop. Let's see how this works. Click on the process. Yes, it works very fine. We have the title at the top, n and sum, and they are separated very nicely with the tab, and it has stopped when the value of n becomes 100, and there is no more values of 100. And sum is indeed the summation of what is the current value of n plus what was the value of sum. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, and so on. This example shows how to use exit do.